Won't he do it? Yes, he will. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33, and today is Tuesday, May the 17th of 2022, and the time is 1 p.m. Central. As always, brothers and sisters, got a powerful message for you when I jump right in talking about your circumstances always match your vibration. So if your circumstances match your vibration, and they do, is the circumstances that you have what you want? Because so everybody on this whole, you are unknowingly or knowingly, depending on how you slice it and dice it, ordering your own destruction or construction. So we all are ordering our own construction and destruction, if you will. And you guys let me know on the audio. Hopefully the sound is coming through okay, and that you guys can hear me okay. So somebody just text me and gives me the thumbs up. Let me know that the audio is coming through okay. Because today's message, like all of these messages, are extremely important for us to understand how we are structuring our reality with our mentality. But the issue that we want to address today, because there's different ways of kind of looking at, okay, thank you so much, Daddy. There's different ways of being. So we live life, bad things happen. And these things happen to us. And it's very interesting because we are all just frequencies and waves of vibration. And the way that we are designed, when we look at physics, and we look at it from a scientific perspective, and we look at how the body works, we look at all of the hermeneutic laws. I posted a video today where guys are going around to women's conferences, and they're just asking a basic question, what is a woman? And nobody could answer the question. People with PhDs could not answer the question because they're saying now a woman has nothing to do with the divine definition of the human design of what I've known all my life as a woman. Now, I understand as we go to the higher levels of Ka, from the Egyptian perspective, I'm with you. There is no body, but on this 3D dimension, we all are spirit essence dropped down into a physical makaba, a body. And it's really interesting that we still are unable to, where we're going as a country is sad. They was interviewing some, in the video, they interviewed some African guys and say, would you like to come to America? They was like, hell no. Because America has lost its way, just like in the movie Doctor Strange. The main character was little girl America, and she couldn't control her powers. She didn't have no idea of how to control the ether. And so what we're talking about today, we're unlocking the mysteries of the earth's chakras and how they isolate and create what we call the body or the temple and our circumstances. So according to all of the ancient texts, the word ether is the essence of the material that fills the universe. And so when we look at this ether, it is the primordial god of light, based upon the ancient text, or the god of sky, according to the ancient Greeks. So the etheric realm, the ether, fills what we call space-time. And the feeling of the space-time is based upon my mind. So space-time structures itself the same way a computer programmer writes a script called a code, and it tells the computer exactly what to do, is the exact same way your vibrations control the ether and tell the molecules what to do. And so your vibrational alignment should be based upon your spiritual assignment. But for most of us, it is not. Most of our vibrational alignment is not based upon our spiritual assignment. Now, most of us because we don't know our spiritual assignment. And it's sad because most people are too busy being busy to be effective. Now, what does that mean is that, like we talked about in the private show and a little bit yesterday, when we talked about the worldview, the eye of the needle, that is why it is harder for a rich man to enter into heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go to heaven. Because to get through the eye of the needle, which is an actual physical place in Jerusalem, it's a very, very small door that allows the camel to get through without his pack. And there's a very, very small door that allows people to get through without anything on their bodies. So you cannot go to heaven with anything on your body. Meaning, what's the spiritual ramification of this physical place? There's a physical place in Jerusalem that has a very small door for people to go through, and it has another door for camels to go through. But the camel, and this door is open at night. During the day, the big door is open so anybody can go through with all of their luggage and baggage. But at night, they keep from getting robbed and blah, blah, blah for security purposes, I'm assuming. They close the big gate and they only allow a camel to come through one at a time with nothing on. And then there's a whole other gate for people to go through with nothing on. Which means that in order for you to go to heaven is a high vibrational place. That's what money is. That's what success is. That's what results is. You can't go with a bunch of thoughts. So the problem is many of us have difficulty focusing on one thought. Now, there are more people, and this is as I've learned, this is the thing that I've learned over the years is that there's a lot of people that are happy with none of their dreams coming true. Now, I got to say this a couple of times so they can register. Because there's people in your family, you may be one of those people. And the hardest thing I had to do was to do that. I had to let people go. Especially family members, and especially friends and members in this group. I had to let you go. There's a lot of people in this group, and a lot of people in our groups, a lot of people in the world. Now, let me be crystal clear, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, I admire people who are honest with themselves. Man, you have no idea. I love your truth. Because I love my truth. I love it. I love it when you are happy. That's my whole purpose in life is just, I'm happy, I want everybody to be happy. My definition of happy is different from yours. There are there's zillions of people on this planet that are happy with nothing. They are satisfied with being unsatisfied. Now, how they got there, another study for another time. But there may be people in your life that you are trying to help, and they are happy with none of their dreams ever coming true. And you are trying to help them make their dreams come true because they're telling you they want their dreams to come true. But deep down inside, they don't. How do you know? How do you know? This is what changed my business. My business changed. I was telling my daughter this last night. She was like, Dad, I got all of these views. I'm getting all these people come on my website. She's looking at all of her analytics. And she's like, why aren't my analytics transferring over into money? The studio should be packed. And we're opening a second location June the 4th. So if you're in the Dallas, McKinney, Texas area, you're welcome to join us from 2 to 5. I'll have the MT3 tent set up, have some of my merch up there, and be chilling and hanging out with the fam. But I'm telling my daughter, number one, your offer is not irresistible. People should feel, yesterday I did an offer. A book that normally sells for $1.99, another book that normally sells for $99. $5 each. So, and I sold a lot of those books. If I hadn't, like I told my daughter, like I'm telling you, that means Number one, because I got an irresistible offer, you would have to be slow vibrational, low vibrational, not. If I'm telling you that this sells for $2.99, I'm gonna give it to you for $5. If the value is two, and it's even worth more than $2.99, and you get it for $5, and it used to be $2.99, you would have to be very low vibrational not to take advantage of that $5 offer. So number one, it has to be an irresistible offer. But number one, you got to get my attention. And the way you get my attention, obviously, is with number two, an irresistible offer. But number three, you got to be in the right market. I was telling my daughter, you can't go saltwater fishing with freshwater bait. Now, it takes a while to register, but a lot of people, you going saltwater fishing, but you got freshwater bait. Saltwater fish are not attracted to. They're not interested in. They don't want what you're selling. So I don't care how great the offer is. If I'm a paraplegic and you have a dance studio and you're marketing dance classes to me and I'm in a wheelchair, unless you got wheelchair classes, which my daughter doesn't, to my knowledge, of course, I don't give a damn how great your offer is. You can't get my attention. If you go to Eskimo, if you go to Alaska and you trying to sell ice to an Eskimo, based upon, assuming that ice is free, because there's ice everywhere, because it's cold. And I don't care if you're selling bags of ice for $1 when it's free everywhere. Why the beat would I pay you for something I already got? That's the only reason life doesn't work. But all of that happens because of what? Your circumstances match your vibration. Many people are happy with none of their dreams coming true. And you're trying to encourage them to pursue their dreams. And they're sitting on the sofa. They got their Popeye chicken sandwich. They got their grape Kool-Aid, and they're watching Love and Hip Hop. And you yelling and screaming, join my program. Listen to my show. You fail to realize that they are happy with, there are people that are happy with their diseases. I don't like disease. I don't like it. So I make sure I do things that assist me with removing it by not being the vibrational equivalent of it. If I ever drop down to the vibration, then I make sure I do things like detox and other things. Go outside like I did this morning. Recalibrate. I'm looking at purchasing a Kagan water machine. Those things they ain't cheap, man. They're like $5,000. But what's the purpose? Well, it gets harder and harder to find seeded watermelon and some of the other things that, and now because unless I grow it myself, I can't trust the dominant culture to grow it for me because everything that they do is designed to make sure that I end up back at the hospital. I was watching a video about Pedialyte, and it got red 40 and it got yellow something. All of those are banned in Europe. We give that to our children, and they knowingly put that shit in our children. They talk about, remember the whole thing when Johnson with the baby powder, Johnson & Johnson, everybody grew up with Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Now they said that caused cancer. They knew that shit. It's not like, we just found out. They put that in there on purpose. Now everybody says, doc, this is just conspiracy theory, my brother. Praise Jesus. I understand. You see, we're not on the same, not you guys, of course, but I'm not on the same vibration as the dominant culture. When I say dominant culture, I'm not talking about white folks. I ain't talking about black folks. I'm talking about the reptilian culture that runs this Draco disposition that's trying to say there's too many of y'all. Well, who decides how many of us there is? I can drive from here to El Paso and shit out there. There's unlimited land. How about we just send everybody over there? So they tell me, we run out of resources. Really? I don't. See? So what does that mean? Well, we got to think. Why? Because your circumstances match your vibration. But your vibration is kind of not your vibration because you have a worldview that's not your own. I changed my worldview. And remember, we've been talking about worldview for the last week because the definition of worldview is a set of beliefs about the fundamental aspects of reality. So, what is reality? Do you guys really know what the Holy Grail is? It's not a cup. See, the ideal that knowledge that knowledge is available to ordinary people like me and you. See, real knowledge is inaccessible to ordinary people. People ask me all the time, Doc, why do you charge $299 for your books? My average book, piece of paper, 200 pages, 300 pages, for $300? Because the shit in that book you can't find on the internet. It's not accessible. So my vibration draws different circumstances. It's interesting. I see people have things happen in their life, and I'm like, how did that happen? See, everybody exists somewhere on a plethora of different frequencies that are available. And now I'm not going to get deep into all of the, bioacoustics and, I can get into all of the medical terminology, but, it really doesn't help anybody. It's just so important that you and I speak clearly so that when you understand that, you are justified by God, really. That means justification means that it's just as if. Everybody should be in the class that we started last night. Because we are going into causality of reality, which is what we're talking about today, which gets into the standard and being God. So your circumstances, you probably think you didn't order. So you have to ask yourself, how did you order? Now, this is a formula for life. This is inside the movie Doctor Strange. They put it in plain sight. The same way everything happens, you have thoughts, but some of your thoughts have more emotional intent than others. Like the way that the unfolding of the purchasing of my home. Man, my wife doesn't understand it, but I understand it because I remember when we were separated and I made a statement. I did a show about it. The title of that show was entitled, Get Your Own Shit. Y'all remember that show? I made that show when I was homeless. When I came back, my wife had moved on. There's another guy living in my house, sleeping in my bed, eating out of my plate. Everything that I had purchased, somebody else was there. And like I tell you guys all the time, what my wife did is what every woman should do. If somebody don't see your worth and value, somebody else will. So I applaud my wife. That's why I came back. See, you have options. I don't know if y'all realize that, especially ladies. If you were a dude like I used to be, she don't see your worth and value, get you another one. Now, I know it's hard, especially for y'all Christians out there. It's like, if I got a car, it don't work, I ain't paying for it. Take it back. Say, yo, man, it's going to go on your credit. Put it on my credit. I don't care. I'm going to get another car. I got options. See, your circumstances match your vibration. People talk to me all the time about things that's happening in their life. And I listen. And I remember, going back to my story, when I was driving, I pulled on the side of the road, and my sister Linda told me, bro, I love you, but I'll be honest with you. You need to get your own shit. And I remember that day, Sister Addie. From that day to this day, all 4 cars is in my name. we will purchase for the last 2 years. We've been trying to purchase a house, and every time we get close to purchasing a home, the only way we can purchase it is if my wife's name is not on it. And my wife doesn't understand. Now, I've told her the story, but without understanding spiritual law and vibration, when I made that statement, I was in an extreme emotional state. Remember the movie Dr. Strange? They tortured the kids to get them to find out their gift. Now, this shit happens in real life with the whole Pizzagate, adrenochrome, and all of that stuff. So when you make a statement in extreme emotion, whether that emotion is love or fear, hate, anger, it's still energy in motion. It activates entities. It activates the energy, your inner chi. That creates a genetic imprint on your soul, in your DNA. That's how you order. So a lot of people have ambition, but they have inertia. That creates envy. That is the formula that runs the world. I'm going to say it again really slowly so that you can understand. Because all I know is where I'm from. And everybody that I know, ladies, if a man really, really wants you, he's going to figure out a way to get you. Now, after the repeated failure, obviously, he could probably, if he got half a brain, he should move on. Because you see that, you don't see his worth and his value. But this culture, women, like my son told me, Dad, I don't need a car. All the girls I talk to, they got cars. They come pick me up. They take me on a date. They pay for everything. So the men have learned to be helpless. So we got a whole culture now where the women are educated and strong and independent, beautiful. But where's the men? Shit, all my nieces are single. They got PhDs. One of my nieces, she got 2 PhDs. She's 23. Smart as bug, my sister Brenda's daughter. Single. Now, let me make sure we understand the system. Because right now you should be listening and you should be thinking to yourself, well, Doc, there's circumstances that happen in my life, brother, that I did not order. I beg to differ, bro. I think if you go back in your life like I do, anytime something, do you know if I get into an altercation, I ask myself, what the hell did I order that shit? I don't remember ordering that. If I go to Walmart right now and somebody pulls in front of me and takes my parking spot, and then they get out and mean mug me like, yeah, I took your spot. What you going to do about it? Because normally the old me, that's when I go in my trunk there and I try to put a bullet in their head. But I'm not that dude no more. Like my brothers and sisters, when we get together, it's like, man, bro, like y'all, like my brother Glenn, everybody was afraid of me. I was the little dude. But I had the Napoleon complex because I was a little dude. The most dangerous dudes in prison are little dudes. Nobody over 5'5" runs gangs. I've never seen a gang member that was over 5'5". The most ruthless dudes are little dudes. They like, them dudes are dangerous because they know they little. They know they got one punch to end the fight. So I grew up the same way with that same disposition. And so if someone challenges that frequency, I know I ordered it because I don't have problems. I've never had problems. Now, I didn't start off like that. I ordered it. Remember I told you guys the prayer I said when I was 13? I used to get my ass whipped every day. I moved from the country from a 2-horse town to a 4-horse town. What did you say? I'm saying that I established a vibration in my brain. I did it. Now, you just may not remember it, but I remember when I said, shit, I was crying, same thing. And I said to myself, remember, I didn't call no demons. I didn't pray to God. I didn't do no freaking circle. I didn't write no pentagram. There was no blood orgy. I didn't say no Hail Marys. I didn't do no shot over my shoulder. I didn't do no sex magic. All that shit that everybody say y'all do, that's not how it works, bro. I mean, those are techniques. That's if you can't see, if you are happy with none of your dreams coming true, then you got to get a technique. You got to get something to see, because you're God and you're a goddess. So you need assistance when you are happy or you have learned helplessness. So the dominant culture, like in the movie Glass, I got to make you think that you are helpless. I got to make you believe that there's power outside of you. You know what we was talking about when we was breaking down how we all settle for less? So once you understand that your circumstances match your vibration, then you change your vibration. Why? You want to change your circumstances. Now the question is, that sounds great, Doc. How do we change our vibration? Like, for real. Now, everybody got a way to change your vibration. You can do mantras, you can do meditation, you can do prayer, you can look at Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, Dr. Bruce Lipton's work. There is 1,001 different ways to change your vibration. Me, I'm like old boy in the movie, I forgot his name, in the movie Glass, that was played by, Samuel Jackson. And they always underestimate the mastermind. That's me. I love the way the mind works. To me, I'm just blown. All I do is all day, I'm just blown away at our mental little. That's what we're talking about when I mean by be money. Now, I read a scripture last night in Mark, which I encourage everybody, especially if you're not taking the class for whatever reasons. We did the introduction last night, and we broke down, and we'll be going into the 3 levels of money, or the 3 mindsets of the world, which is what we call poor, rich, and wealthy. And so everybody is either making money, keeping money, or building wealth. Now, I do all 3. See, a mastermind, we understand all 3. There's nothing wrong with making money, keeping money, building money, but the key is that you earn, we all do. Now, I just like the word be for the word earn. Earn means win. We earn, we win, we spend, we do it again. Everybody. That's the circle of life. You wake up, you got to figure out something. When you figure it out, you feel something. When you feel something, you exhales. And then most people stop. Me, I earn, I win, I spend, I do it again. So I'm in the money, you're not supposed to spend it, you're supposed to circulate it. That's a quote from Reverend Ike, one of my gurus. My boy Norvell Goddard, says the same thing. In fact, most of the stuff that I'm sharing in the private session, a lot of the stuff comes from Norvell Goddard and the other lady, I forgot her name, something S. Again, this stuff is old. You're like in the book, Think and Grow Rich. Everything is in the Bible. We broke it down. Mark chapter 12, verse 26, 7, 8, 9. Because Jesus said everything on the planet, they asked him, what's the most important thing? This is how I establish my vibration, which establishes my circumstances. So if I go to Walmart right now and I have a confrontation, or someone attempts to have a confrontation with me, I immediately back down and I go back in my car and I just sit there until I figure out why the hell did I order that? Do I want to go to prison because we fight in Walmart for a loaf of bread? I'm not willing to go to prison for a loaf of bread. I'm not willing to go to prison over somebody cutting me off in a traffic accident. So anytime I get into a confrontation, I ask myself one question: are you willing to die today for this? If the answer is yes, it's game on. I do not order crazy. I don't have a love and hip hop life. My life is very good. because I ordered it. I established a very good vibration. And the way by which I established that very good vibration is what I'm breaking down inside of the B Money. This is the formula for life, which the last two shows that we've done, we were talking about, most people choose not to think. See, salvation is liberation. Salvation is not, you don't go nowhere. Salvation is you stay where you at, and you create peace right where you are. See, problems is a sign of inferior thoughts. See, your internal beliefs simply means that your worldview doesn't match what we call the biblical worldview. That's it. I see, like, I can go through the name of everybody on this call. The first image I always like, because it burns in my brain. That's just how it's like. Again, I got to go back to the movie Glass, because I don't really see people, I see energy. When I see people, I see energy. And you guys' energy, there's not nobody on this call that your energy, that if someone has, hey, could you explain what you see when you see somebody like Sister Stephanie Mo Davis, or some like Sister Sandra, somebody like Sister Carolina, somebody like Dr. Martinette, somebody like Sister Cheryl West, somebody like Sister Diane Coleman, somebody like my buddy, Richie Rich, somebody like, Jay Mutton, somebody like my boy Michael Fields, somebody like my boy down in Alabama, the father and son duo, Brother Martin, Brother Donnie. So I can go on and on, but what is the point? The point is the images. Like the first time I met Brother Travis at the seminar that we did in Dallas, when he walked in the door, my wife immediately said, that has to be Brother Travis. Immediately. As soon as he walked in, he didn't say anything. He was just a slender, tall, dark-haired, white, Caucasian gentleman walks through the door of a seminar. His energy matches. The first time I seen Brother David. But David Andrews, same thing. Sister Chantal, the doctors Jerome and Arlene Spain, same thing. Vibration. So everybody's circumstances match their vibration. So I can tell how Dr. Spain's life is going to play out by her vibration. I can tell how Dr. Jerome's life is going to play out by his vibration. I can tell how Sister Carolina's life is going to play out by her vibration. All the circumstances in your life, they have to match your vibration. That's why when Jesus came, his vibration was different. Everybody saw his vibration. Now, whether you believe the story, his physical story, that's a story. You know the word Jesus means, like the YHS, everybody leave that out, VH, it stands for earth, air, spirit, fire, water. That's what Jesus means. So when I say Jesus, I'm talking about the elements of the ether. So Jesus represents an individual who's able to control the elements of the ether and mold mass or matter and turn water into wine. That was water, he wanted wine, bam. To be able to say, peace, be still. And the raging storm in his head, all the thoughts, well, really it was the disciples that was having a mental issue, not Jesus. He was sleeping. So when people talk about Jesus, I don't think about a guy walking around. I think about a mental disposition that I be. So that's what the B Money, I am money, that's what it's about. Everything that I teach, the life management system, today's show is about you and your worldview. So your worldview should match Israel. Your worldview should reclaim your throne. Israel is the neocortex, the paleocortex, and the reptilian cortex. The reptilian cortex is right now, the reticular activating system is what runs everybody's life. And until you master the reptile with the paleo means old. Neo means new. So these are coverings of covenants. So we all right now, as I talked about inside of Module 3, which is why the People Development Center was so important, I broke down the Lucifer or the Jehovah contract, covenant. So this is a celestial contract between God, Jehovah, and Abram, which became Abraham, which is the Ammon's horn, which controls memories and experiences in the brain. This is a biological pursuit of over understanding. Hebrews 7:15, Hebrews 7:23, 1 Corinthians 1:25. Don't have time to go over those. Philippians 3:20, Isaiah 9:6. All of these match up what we talked about last night in 1 Timothy 6:10 and Mark. The most powerful for me, most profound, the most important, one of the most important scriptures inside of the Bible, because the scriptures are a script. Now, if you know anything about coding, you know that they call the code that tells a computer what to do a script. That's why we have scriptures, because the world is controlled by the word. The Bible says the same thing. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. There's a whole chapter, one of my favorite chapters in the scriptures. It's a script. It's Psalms that I have inside my book, The Ultimate Secret of Being Rich. Psalms 23 is one of the greatest books ever written when it comes to understanding that most people are happy with none of their dreams coming true. And you are going and you spending your life trying to help people who are happy sitting on the sidelines, not playing the game. You are trying to convince them to play the game. I remember this conversation talking to my oldest son, DJ. I remember telling him, and I remember him saying, Dad, I watched you. I watched your life. I don't want no part of that. I've seen how you struggled. I watched you work 3 jobs. I saw you sleep in the parking lot of the car. Because at that time, my first wife, she would bring me lunch. BJ was a little boy. And BJ watched how hard I tried and repeated failure after failure. Because if you really, really, really want something, you're going to figure this stuff out. I don't give a damn what it costs. If you really want it, you're going to go get it. And so you're talking to people. If you're in business, especially what I do for a living, you better make damn sure you are not casting your pearls amongst swine. You have to be able to allow people to be where they want to be. Everybody, and you guys know, I keep saying this, I said it again. The story of the last job 10 plus years ago, the last job I had was called Endeavors. You can Google them. They're an organization that gets federal grants to assist homeless people. And you guys, I keep telling this story because that changed my life. That was the last job I had. I went out there. They had spent years trying to find these veterans that was homeless. They San Antonio, they said, we don't want no veteran, especially in the office of homeless. They said, Mr. Rogers, you're a veteran. They hired me because I told them I'll find them. It's what you've been trying to do for 5, 6 years, I could do in a week. They laughed at me because I already knew. Because number one, they couldn't find them. I knew I'm a veteran. I knew where the combat veteran going to go. He's going to go in a place where nobody will least suspect. You know where they were all at? They were all in tunnels and sewage, under sewage, where you got to crawl through on your hands and knees. And there was this whole underground community. No police officer, no person with a PhD from a college that wasn't a veteran was willing to get on their knees and climb through raw sewage to go talk to a homeless veteran. Because they don't know what it's like to be in combat. They don't know what it's like to be called names. They don't want to know what it's like to do all this shit for your country, especially if you're black and you can't get a freaking loan. Or you can't buy, or you go and you get discriminated against. No, they don't know. Those people they got college degrees. Do you know that all the caseworkers were primarily Caucasian women? And they were trying to talk to veterans? You know what all the veterans told me? They said, I ain't talk. They said, I refuse. Because they couldn't relate. And then all these caseworkers sitting in an office trying to find homeless people. I drove in my car They said, Mr. Rogers, dude, we don't know these people, man. They're thugs, they're drug addicts, they're rapists, they got, diseases. You know what I did? Get in the car, bro. First thing I did, I took them all out to eat. One by one. Then I went to this place. It's here in San Antonio. You should Google it. All the veterans sleep out in an open air building in downtown San Antonio. It's worse than a supermax prison. They have all the Marines have a certain section. Now, this is very important so you can understand their circumstances and how their vibration created that circumstance. The one guy who was a colonel, his income is $2,500 a month and he's homeless. How is that possible? Long story short, as I told you guys a million times, homeless people are homeless because they want to be homeless. Just like you and your circumstances, wherever you are in your life, you are there because you want to be there. Now, there may be, in the case of veterans, if you're suffering from PTSD, and a lot of them are, you guys know, when I met my wife, first thing I had to deal with, we were driving and car backfired. One time we were sitting in church, there was this loud horn, and next thing I looked up, my wife was on the floor, turned up in a fetal position. And I was like, what's it? But like firecrackers and certain things, those loud, unexpected sounds and pops, all those veterans was pretty much the same way. Because there are certain triggers. And so without understanding those triggers and understanding people have a certain vibration, worldview for a specific reason because of events that have took place in their lives. So I have a healthy disdain for religion. Why? So most people who do not know that I have a set of beliefs about the fundamental aspects of the reality of Christianity that influences how I perceive, how I think, what I know, and what I do when it comes to my own personal philosophy of life, my mindset, my outlook on life, and my formula for manifesting, that's why you feel that vibe. So when I go around a traditional Christian, they can pick it up. Because they wasn't with me, though, when I was 5. And the lady who was beating me with that pipe, that had that Bible in her hand, I couldn't connect the dots between Jesus and that pipe. When I went to bed hungry, I couldn't, and they said, well, you got to fast so you can get close to Jesus. And then when I talked about biological father, and I asked him, I said, Dad, what happened, man? Where was you at when we was kids, bro? And he told me, your mama used to wrap herself up in a sheet. And after years, I tried everything. I tried everything to reach her. But that lady, I said, hold up, said, I was legally, yeah, but they said, Sister X told your mama that we was unequally yoked because I didn't go to church. I said, boy, I ain't going to church. One thing about my father, I got to give mad respect to my dad. He's gone, you guys know. My dad, we didn't have a really good relationship till later on in life because I blamed all my problems, because, he should have, then when I got there, you guys heard the story. What's the point, Doc? The point is, I hated my father without knowing him. He had a reason why he had that specific vibration that created those specific circumstances that said, I don't do religion. I remember I used to drive from San Antonio all the way. His second wife, her name was Betty Sue Green. She's the only person that ever brought me anything in this world when it comes to material possessions. The only woman. Every year she would buy me 2 pair of pants and 2 shirts. That's all the clothes I had. Now, I didn't have no bed to sleep in, but I had a nail in the corner of the wall. And there's this guy, Bruce, another guy, Pam. There was 3-room little shack. No indoor plumbing. We had a tub. We would run water. I ain't talking about the 60s, 70s. This shit was in the 80s. It ain't that long ago. Well, maybe for some of you guys. And I remember I used to drive, when I grew up, I used to come back home and I used to do Bible studies with Betty Sue. And I used to tell my father, hey, Daddy, you come in there, man, get some of this word. Boy, that's, I mean, like I said, I think the nigga forgot my name. Boy, I ain't that Bible shit. Your mama used to get into that. Now Betty doing it. I ain't doing it. He never read a Bible. But you know what? I respect my father more than any Christian I've ever met. My father was a man of his word. There's kids right now in Richmond that my father raised that they love him and treat him better than his own biological children. Everybody that came in contact with my father, you go to Richmond and you mention Wilbert Rogers, everybody knew my father. Or you go to Flushing, you can mention Myrtle Rogers or Robinson, and everybody know my mama. What's the point, Doc? The point is, my brothers and sisters, we all go through events in life that skews our vibration. And until you're able to go back and rewrite, like I did, I rewrote my childhood. I rewrote my memories of my past. How did I do it? Sister X was the only person on the planet that I wanted to literally put in a box. You guys know the story. I happened to be stationed in Japan at the time I got the news that Sister X was gone. Because I thought I was going to have the opportunity to basically send her on to glory. Somebody beat me to it. But after Sister X was gone, I still had all the pain and all the anger. I had no way to process it. I didn't know what to do with it. Because now, Sister X is gone. I was looking forward to the day of putting a bullet, climbing through Sister X's backyard myself. So that took up a lot of, all that anger, all that energy, established a specific signature. Everybody on this call, you have an energy signature. It's like how you sign your spiritual check. Before you can manifest anything, you cannot manifest anything without your energy signature. The universe only, again, Mark, you can read it. Mark chapter 12, verse 26. We read it last night. So all of my spiritual downloads, 1 John 2:27, everything is based upon the Greek word. There's a couple of Greek words that really stand out, but the one word that really stand out, when we say similar to the English word psyche, is pseudos. P-S-E-U-D-O. Pseudos. It means the maker of the practice. So everything happens in the spirit realm. And that's what I talked about when I talked about the word Waka, W-A-K-L, kind of like Waka Flocka, but Waka Kong or Chong, K-H-A-N. It means, it's a phrase that has to do with the sacred fire that comes from the set apart stone, tone, bone, called the sacrum. So your sacrum is a pump. It pumps up fire, called the kundalini and the kuda buffer, through your penis. With your penis, P-E-N-I-S, is S-P-I-N-E. You got to change the letters around. It's your spine. So if you look at the letters for spine, you look at the word for penis, it's the same letters. You just got to move around. In Latin, it is the os sacrum, which means holy bone. In the Greek, it is the H-I-E-R-O-N. So we can go in any language, we can break it down. At the end of the day, what does it mean? Well, the sacrum is a pump, and your brain is a pump. So it pumps it up. That's why as above, so below. There's a pump below, there's a pump above. That moves the fire, which is the CSL, cerebral spinal. So in there is the biological proof or equivalent of the vibrational frequency wave of vibration that controls what you manifest. So all of this in the Bible is called manna. So my legal jurisdiction to be able to manifest in this dimension is based upon what you and I call an attitude. But an attitude is a mental disposition. And Jesus, everything he did, he spoke as one having authority. Everyone would say, hold up, I thought that was the carpenter's son. That's the little dude we used to beat up every day and take his lunch money. And they said, yeah, that's him. But they said, well, hold up, well, why is his energy now different? We used to whoop his ass when he was little. Take his lunch money, but now, he went away, because remember, Jesus left, came back, remember the missing years? But then when he came back, even the demons, they said, oh, hold up, dog, why you come to torment us before our time? Bid us to go over into these pigs. He said, okay, y'all go over there and hang out. So Jesus didn't fight, didn't struggle. He didn't do any of the things that we do. He had a singleness of mind. He wasn't walking around in self-pity. He wasn't walking around in grief and sadness and regret. Why? He knew that there was nothing that was uncontrollable. He had three things, really four, that most of us don't. So vibration is, number one, self-awareness. As I've been saying for 25 years. My whole life changed when I became aware of myself. What did I do? I just decided, you know what, I like me. It's just that easy, brothers and sisters. It's not rocket science, but it is, because there's a voice in your head that says, no, you shouldn't like yourself because you're not tall enough. You shouldn't like yourself because you don't got blue eyes. You shouldn't like yourself because you do got blue eyes. You shouldn't like yourself because, you're white. You shouldn't like yourself. So your brain is telling you, well, look in the mirror. Ooh, wow. Them extra pounds you got, you didn't have those when you was 18. So we all are very, very, very critical, hypercritical of ourselves. And we don't know that ourselves is ourselves. So our cells respond to how we think. That creates our vibration. So your vibration is based upon your unconscious, usually self-talk. So be careful how you talk to yourself. Now, you can curse out your neighbor. You can talk shit to the clerk at Walmart, whatever. But how you talk to yourself. See, I don't talk to myself anymore the way I used to. So even when I lose, I win. Like all the shit that I did wrong in my marriage, it wasn't wrong. It was right. And for me. Now, you can talk to the reverend, doctor, the bishop. You can talk to my wife. You can talk to people who I, quote unquote, wronged. But you got to really realize that all things work together for my good. I don't take losses. I take lessons. So I've had a lot of lessons, but I don't have no losses. I changed my perspective. So now, when I go back and I think about Sister X, now I don't wish any harm, because I realize actually Sister X did me a favor. She gave me a mental disposition now that everybody else has to learn later in life. I just happened to learn it, when I was a kid. You guys know that I do these weird detoxes and fasts and all of this stuff all the time. I got to thank Sister X for that. So now I don't view what happened to me as bad. I went into my past. And I did this with my father, my biological mother, because I blame my mom because she was right there when Sister X was beating the snot out of her. And I used to ask my brothers and sisters, like, now I'm a father now. Do you think I'm going to allow another man to put his hands on my children? And they all grown. Do you think I would let somebody else take a metal pipe wrapped in tape and hit my son on the back? I don't give a damn what he did. And you can go to, take him to court. If he gets found guilty, he got to serve time. And if he did the act, but you ain't gonna just take out no pipe and beat it. Because I'm a parent, so that bothered me. So I had to learn how to process that. So if you don't go back in your past, it's gonna cost you your cash. because your cash is really hidden in your past. That's why if you can understand when the Bible says physician, heal thyself. Because remember, Luke is a physician. Your cure is inside of the curse. Is get rid of the snake. When you drop the S from the word curse, you have the word cure. And so most of us, our circumstances match our boredom, our desires, and our vices. If you go deep in, you'll find that the way people treat you is based upon how you train them to treat you. And the way God treats you is how you train God to treat you. God in the universe. So whatever circumstances you're in right now, don't be mad at the circumstances. Be thankful. And say, Big G, thank you. Because what you are doing is you have impregnated your unconscious, or let's turn it around, your unconscious has impregnated your conscious. Based upon what? All problems are fixed ideals in past trauma. Think about it. See, doubt can only be overwritten by action. So when I see someone, they have, let's go back to the formula, action plus inertia, which is what we call laziness. There's a reason why people are sitting on the porch. They're not in the game. They saw, like my son, they saw how hard the game was like shit. I don't want no part of that. So they got ambition. They got dreams. So dreams plus inaction equals envy. That's why they look at you like, look at that mother. Beep, 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 beep. You see, brothers and sisters, it's very, very important. In the movie Glass, there's a quote that said that if everybody sees what just a few people see or become, when they embrace, they said, I think he said talents. I like the word gifts. If a few people embrace their gifts and their talents, all those people will awaken. See, positivity is contagious. The whole movie Glass is a powerful story of the power, not only of the mind, but the power to be able to manifest your dream and to actually become a superhero just because you believe you're one. So my boy orchestrated all of these events, right, in the movie Glass, to put them in situations and circumstances for them to actually excel. So your job is to do the same thing for yourself. So every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. So are you. Your job is to understand that your thought vibration affects your gateway experience. Let me say that again. Father, to the mind, will, emotion, imagination, and your people. According to the CIA, they have the gateway experience, or human speak. According to the CIA, they said that when someone has whole brain thinking, I go back to my book that I wrote 20 years ago. Look at the definition of the word clairvoyance. Go to my website, Master T 33, and look at the definition of the word clairvoyance. You're going to see household management of the soul. That is whole brain thinking. That means mind, will, emotion, imagination, intellect, all doing Mark 12:26. When Jesus himself said, this is the greatest commandment of all. You can do anything you want, but if you want to transcend, you got to go within. If you really, really, really want to be the man, a.k.a., or the woman, you got to understand Mark chapter 12. Because no matter where you go, or no matter what you do, when you look at Philippians verse 30, when it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, with all your strength. That's oneness. So your vibration must be one, according to the CIA. That brings about what they call energy entrainment or brainwave entrainment. So that's the secret sauce. What's the secret sauce? Love yourself. Because before Mark, I think it was verse 30, you go all the way back up to what we talked about last night. Before that, they asked Jesus, what's the most important thing on the planet? And he says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. When they asked Jesus, the most important thing on the planet is for Israel to be one. But Israel means the brain. It's not the land. It's a land. It's not a land, it's God's land. G stands for God. L-A-N-D. Land, that's ether. With your ether, when your brain, when the neo, the paleo, and the reptile are all oscillating and vibrating on the standard, which is being God, which is why I had those two books on sale. That's the standard. The standard is God and science have to come together. Otherwise, people are not going to value you enough to pay you. People will not value you enough to pay you until you become a superhero in your own head. That's when I started making money. Nothing happened in my life until I became a superhero. See, money is a byproduct of being flawless. Does it mean that you really are flawless? No. It's the byproduct of having a disposition, being in a state. What says I am, I can, I have. People who have quote unquote circumstances, they have a state that says, I want, I need, I'm concerned. If you have a state, that's why it's dangerous being a caregiver, being in the medical field, being in any kind of service industry is dangerous. It's a double-edged sword. Because when you're in the service industry, what happens is, if you like me, you get a tax. That's why I got out. I literally got out. I had to, remember, I raised 16 kids. We was in the way. We used to help kids in my first marriage. Foster kids and all this stuff. We used to take kids in. Because the way I was raised, man, I said, I don't want no child to grow up like that. And every time I saw a child, I care. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta help. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. And so people ask me all the time, damn, Doc, you had 3 jobs, man, and y'all still was broke? Fool, you know how much it cost to take care of 16 children? 5 of them my own. The other ones, I just brought them into my house. One of them ended up molesting my, found in a closet, molesting my daughter, Shamura. Man, it was a 3-ring circus because I was out working. I never asked my first wife, hey, you want to be the ringmaster of this circus? See, I was gone. I worked. I just assumed. She never said nothing. Now when we talked, she was like, no, I didn't want to do none of the shit you did. I said, but then, why'd you go along with it? Well, for the sake of the marriage. Ladies, just don't ride along and sit back in the back seat quiet. If you got a man that's driving off the cliff, tell that fool to stop and let you out. I was young, dumb, and stupid. Somebody should have hit me in the head with a freaking 2x4. But nobody said nothing. And I was licensed and all that, going to church every day. The pastors and the preachers, nobody pulled me over and said, yo, young buck, what about your family, dog? What about your wife? You doing all this for these kids. I destroyed another whole person trying to save somebody else. Those circumstances, my whole 25 years I did that shit. 25 years of circumstances was pretty much hell on earth. Other than, the times, it wasn't all bad. What's the point? That was the point. The point is, my brothers and sisters, most people, myself included, we do not have access to what's called the Holy Grail. Secret knowledge. Now, it's available, it's out there, but it's in science fiction. It's in novels. It's in the movies. It's hidden inside of ancient texts. Now, this knowledge is written documentation that dates back to the beginning of time. It's out there, but it's being interpreted and it's getting rewritten and it's getting believed in all of these secret societies and blah, blah, blah. They're like in the movie Doctor Strange. You know, the Vatican, there's this TikTok video going around with the inner workings of the Vatican when they get together and they sing a song to Lucifer. Now, it's in Latin, but the word Luciferian or Luciferian, you can hear the word Lucifer. I don't know if y'all seen it. It's on TikTok. I was going to post it on Facebook, but I don't want to go back to Facebook jail like shit. I just got out. So what are you saying? I'm just saying that everybody has this thing that we call gut feeling. That gut feeling, that is the most powerful motivative evidence that you have. Let me say it again. What is my worldview? People ask me all the time, Doc, what do you believe? I believe me, myself, and I. All three of us, shit, we get along great. What do I mean by me, myself, and I? Everything that happens in my life, I go by my gut. I always tell, because you know, me and the wife come from different, worldviews. And so I always go with my gut. And then I tell her before something happens that it's going to happen. And then it happens. Every time. Remember, I've been doing this since 13. This ain't my first rodeo. See, most people, they don't believe themselves. They'll believe somebody like me. Now, I could be telling you, hey, you should go climb that, you should, go climb a tree, cut it down, and, sell it on TikTok, make some money. And if your gut tells you, I don't know about climbing trees or cutting them down, you should go with your gut. No matter what I say. TD Jakes can call you. If somebody, no matter what, I don't care about their accolades. See, stress, struggle, suffering means you're not in the flow state. Stress, struggle, and suffering means you don't have certainty, empathy, and compassion. See, every morning I wake up, I have certainty. Sister Diane, I'm not wishy-washy. That's what we talked about last night when we talked about be money. This is how you be money. Money, remember, money is not what you think. As we were breaking down, money is a variance, which we're breaking down later on tonight, which, again, nobody knows. All these, I've never heard it preached, talked about. And I'm trying to find, man, that I don't know, man, it's in one of my closets. I got like 5 storage states. I got like 3 storage facilities in Houston with boxes and stuff. And I'll tell you guys about that book that I found that I bought like 30 plus years ago that is this old garage sale. It was some kind of secret society book that has real shit, had a lock on it. And it said it was signed and, blood thumbprints on it and all this other shit. And it wasn't a Masonic book. I got the Masonic Bible. I've seen all the Mason stuff. This book, I don't know. And I remember reading it, but I don't know what I did with it. I got to try to find it. I don't even remember the name of it. But basically in this book, it talks about a lot of the stuff when it comes to what you and I talk about. Because most people think money is paper. Most people don't know that money is the result of the flow state. So when I talk about the roadmap that unlocks, they call it forward looking, the looking glass. So the best way to predict the future is to freaking create it, to write it. All that was in that book. So a lot of the stuff that I've learned over the years, I've learned from that book. And I found there was a guide, I Googled it, but most of his information, I got to try to, I'll find it, the name of it'll come back, but what is the point? The point that I'm making, brothers and sisters, is this is the psychology. Kind of like I was telling you guys about the psychology behind something as simple as taking a selfie. While, most women, they don't take a selfie eye level. They hold the camera up and away to look down. So that way it makes themselves appear slimmer, smaller, and non-threatening. Then we take the selfies straight across to make us look wider, stronger, more intimidating. So when we look at the psychology behind it, that is what I call a hidden worldview. So success is based upon knowing your hidden worldview. Don't try to change it. Just align with it. Because that is your energy signature that's placed inside of you by God. If you're 6 like me, you got a heart for people. You're probably in the service industry. Unfortunately, if you're 6 like me, you probably should get out of the service ministry. Why? Because you got to do what loves you more than what you love. I love helping people, taking care of people, but I will give it away for free. I love really, really, really inspiring people, motivating people. You know, I don't want nobody to not accomplish their dreams. I don't want nobody to sit on the sidelines. I don't want nobody to be homeless. That's why I don't like hospitals. I don't want nobody to be like, hospitals should all be burned down. I think we should go in and just heal everybody instantly. However, some people like the attention that they get from being sick. Y'all know that's what they call it, that disease that the mothers get from having a sick child. They keep their baby sick on purpose. That's some real shit. That's crazy to me. That a mother would purposely get or allow their child to be sick so they can get attention or get this or get that. So since I know that about myself, I don't allow the enemy to use that against myself. That is a vibration that I'm talking about. No says this know thyself. The secret to life is to know yourself. Once you know yourself, then you can make adjustments to yourself by doing exactly what I did. I have ambition. I got my ambition and I looked at my design. Let me close with this. Everybody has a Dear Connect report. Everybody has a life path number. Everybody has 12 times 12. So you got 144 attributes and characteristics. You can choose one, or you can use all 144. Most of it gets overwhelmed by how powerful they are. For example, the month that you was born. You can just take that. I'm born in September. That means total awareness. So I can take that. I can build an empire. I can become a billionaire just talking about total awareness. Nothing else. None of my other numbers. Not my blood type, place of birth, none of it. See, the problem is, brothers and sisters, you are so powerful and so gifted, you're like, shit, I don't know what to express. Everybody on this call, y'all know, man, you could pretty much do anything. Like, for real. Like, most of you guys are I've talked to pretty much everybody on this call. And there's not nobody on this call that I'm trying to think of something that you cannot do. There may be things that you may not want to do, like me. Everybody on this call, you could be a heart surgeon. Now, you may not like blood. You may say, yeah, but you have the capacity. You could go to medical school. I guess everybody on this call could be lawyers. We could start our own law firm right now with everybody. It takes us a little while to go through law firm, but again, what's the point, doctor? We could do it. Why? We are freaking geniuses. We're intelligent. Ain't no dummies on this call. Ain't no low vibrational activitons on this call. Y'all are freaking gurus, gods and goddesses. That's the problem, though. The problem is you're so freaking good at everything, but you got to be an expert at one thing. So I did not do what I wanted to do. I did what loves me, and I do what loves me. I don't do what I love. I do what loves me. So my question to you today, what loves you more than you love it? Then you're safe. What does that mean, Doc? Well, that means that it's going to work harder to stay connected to you than you will have to work to stay connected to it. For me, what do I do every day? What comes easy? I'm talking like, it's so easy, it's scary. The number 3 twice is in my life path number. That's where I get the 33 from. It ain't got shit to do with Masons and, Illuminati and Lucifer shit. 33rd parallel. All of that is nothing. The number 3 means artistic imagination. Did y'all know my brain don't turn off? This is like medically proven. I went to the doctor because of this. Because when they told me that I had bipolar disorder, they said I had restless development disorder, and they had schizophrenia. And I don't hear little voices. I see ideas, literally. Kind of like they said, ideas, I can almost see, it's almost like it's written. I can go to a bookstore right now and a certain book will almost illuminate. It's almost it's like a yellow color. And I used to do that. I used to go to the bookstore, just walk around. And then a book would put up the shelf. It would be the answer to the question I asked myself last night, or it would be some secret that I need to share with the universe. That's how I make all my money in the beginning. I just go to the bookstore, find a book, read it, and then regurgitate it. It's come automatic. I don't have to do nothing. Even when I'm asleep, I'm laying in the bed. Last night I didn't sleep, like most nights. I got like, when I say didn't sleep, I mean I get like 2 or 3 hours. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you got that too. It's probably in your numbers. In fact, I know it's in your numbers. So if I was anybody on this call and you got a circumstances in your life, whatever it is, it could be money, it could be health, it could be whatever. You know what the solution to that problem is at? It's immersing, doing what Jesus did. It's when you immerse your brain in your solution. It's like water. Baptism, that's what baptism is. You're supposed to, your brain is supposed to be immersed in your solution. That means that your brain should be in a state where you are in a place where you are acting as if, but you really are. So, like, right now, with the up and down stuff, for the wife, I was telling her, like, man, this is great, this is fun. And she was like, Nico, you crazy. Like, you know, the market's changing, you know, this, you know, stuff is going up and down, and I'm loving it. The reason I'm loving it because I'm already in it. What does that mean? That means that I'm not, like, going through the up and down because my brain is in a place where I'm stable. So my vibration is creating circumstances of stability. So I'm not seeking happiness outside of myself. I'm not seeking assistance. I have symbols, letters, numbers that are engraved. Look at the word engraved. It means in the grave. So I've engraved. That is an energy imprint. So that energy converts into matter. You have that same power. All you got to do is do what? Immerse, do exactly as the Bible said. You got to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. But first, before you do all of that, hero is with the Lord your God is one. So Isis, Ra, and El, the 3 parts of the brain, or mind, spirit, soul, all got to be one. Remember the Tower of Babel? They was all on one accord. They had one language, and it was not nothing that they could not accomplish. Is there anybody on this call who wants to accomplish what God, the universe, the ether, whatever word you want to put in there, has put you on this planet to do and to accomplish? I highly recommend you look at your chart and you look at your numbers, and I would go with the first word that popped into your brain. Let's say you are 9, and let's say that 9 comes with the numbers 2 and 7. The first thing that pops into my brain with I said number 2 is intuition. Now remember, intuition is shit you know without study. So if you are a 279, you should not do nothing that you study. Why? That's not what you're here. You're here to bring something to the universe because, see, your confidence now, your ego can't be activated. Why? How you going to act all haughty and arrogant when you ain't do nothing? It's like Shaquille O'Neal walk around with his chest stuck out because he's 7'2". Sit down, bro. You ain't do shit. That's a gift, Brad. I ain't impressed. Like, people see superstar athletes. You know what? I'm not no guru. I mean, no guru. No freaking, what they call them? The fans that be going, I don't like sports. No, I love sports, but I don't like fans because they worship the athletes. So what? Kevin Garnett's skills came from God. Michael Jordan's skills, yeah, he did a little practice, he did a little this and that, but his height came from source. The number one key in basketball is you got to be tall. So like in football, you got to be big. And you got to be, if you're a world star, if you're an Olympic athlete, you got speed. What did you do to get that speed? Nothing. Do that. Why? You can't be arrogant. How the hell am I going to be arrogant when all the shit that I talk about comes from God? Like, literally, every show topic I get, it drops into my skull. Because I'm a very creative, imaginative communicator. 3, 3, 6. So again, if you are a 2, you have intuition. If you are a 7, you have intelligence. If you are a 9, 2 plus 7 equals 9, that makes you royalty. So that means you use your intuition to speak intelligently, people will treat you like a god. I will be riding that horse until it freaking pass out. You guaranteed to create wealth, health, wisdom, and relationship. Why? Because what your intelligence, where it comes from your intuition. But I guarantee you, if you are a 279, you know what you're doing? What is the dark side of a 279? The dark. Remember, when you got to express, energy must be expressed either positively or negatively. So if you're a 2, you ain't got no intuition. That means what you got? Ignorance. That means you don't know shit. And if you're a 7, that means you intellect. What's the opposite of ignorance? What's the opposite of intelligence? Same thing. Little lost dummy, LLD member. And if you're 9, instead of people treating you like a god, they treat your ass like a peasant. You probably carrying some other Negro's luggage. You're a groupie. Guarantee. Show me a 279. I guarantee you he's posted up or she's posted up with somebody else's shit. Why? That's law, man. That is the universal script. So yes, your circumstances, you being a groupie, you ordering that shit. Because that's your vibration. So no, you're going to blame the white man, especially if you're black. Oh man, Dr. White man got the foot on my neck, brother. That's just old, man. You're a freaking God in the God. Ain't nobody got their foot on your neck except yourself. So take your design, add some shine to your design. What does that mean? Align your mind with your design. It's time out for envy that comes from laziness because you don't take action. Now, I understand why, but it's time out. We are big boys and big girls. I'm no longer happy with none of my dreams coming true. I'm no longer happy with sitting on the sideline watching everybody else live like a rock star. It's time out, everybody. It's time for you to get in the game. Make sure you guys, if you're not already paid, man, make sure you guys go in, go to the website, make the payment so you guys can join me as we go with part 1 tonight. We go further into this topic, really, as we break down I am money. I don't make money. I am money. I love you. Appreciate you. Y'all already know there's nothing you can do about it because my love for you is unconditional. I'm going to see you guys tonight. God bless.